Hello everyone, thanks for joining us here on Horizon. Well, Roy Clark may be best known for his work on the Hee Haw television show, but this longtime Oklahoman is in fact a virtuoso with anything with strings, and just as funny as you remember him. I was able to sit down with Clark in his Tulsa office to talk about his career and his love of music. From his earliest days, Roy Clark knew the value of a smile.
When I first noticed that people could laugh at different things I did and said was in grade school.
A country boy living in our nation's capital, Roy and his dad spent many an evening playing local clubs.
Every street corner had a club or something that had maybe two pieces of music, and the audience was there because D.C. always had military bases, and all these young people, they also had young girls that right out of high school working for the government. So every night was a Saturday night.
And Clark began to hone his musical talent.
Television and I was given birth about the same year. I did my first television show in 1947.
He's a sensational one-man show. So let's put the lightning fingers of Roy Clark to work.
And with that laugh and sly smile, Clark's music became laced with humor.
If you play guitar like I do, you have to have comedy.
And Roy Clark became a staple on early television.
I'm the great pretender.
Known for his charm as well as his music, a TV presence that CBS noticed when looking for a summer replacement for the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour.
Sounds like some kind of nut. Some ding man going around talking to the trees.
Hi there, tree. Just dropped by to talk to you for a minute, Joe. I'm shy.
We made a decision that maybe we ought to entertain a show that would be with music and quick cut one-liners like laughing.
With more of a small-town feel.
Hee Haw.
And in the summer of '69, Hee Haw hit the airwaves.
Welcome to Hee Haw, starring Buck Owens and Roy Clark.
Roy could play comedy and sing. He was the first person that we went after when the creation of Hee Haw got started. Buck really made a contribution to Hee Haw because of his music and of course of his recording. He was a good setup man. So it worked. The combination of the two was just a beautiful relationship.
So that was the combination they wanted, was Buck in his record sales and me with my jovial face.
And so began a 25-year run of a show often dismissed by critics, but loved by its 30 million weekly viewers.
You know, they say he's 94, never looked at a girl in his life, never smoked, took a drink, or gambled. Beats me why he wanted to live so long.
When you did something, that we had to live with it. There was no stopping tape.
Oh, really?
We never rehearsed. Because then if they found out there was a stop button, then we'd be stopping all day long, stopping the tape.
So what you saw was pretty much what they shot, bloopers and all.
Junior, you know I do believe that Marvin Muff Knuckles is the laziest one man that I personally have ever seen in my entire life. What do you think?
I know it is that he is, and if he ever wakes up over twice a week, he complains of snorting them.
It was down to a science in that I would get the guest artists first, get all their music out of the way. Then the next one in line would be Buck Owens, get his music out of the way. Then I would bring in everybody for comedy. Now, Roy would be there now when we would do the comedy. because the very first thing that when we did comedy was Pickin and Grinning with Buck. And once we got through with Pickin and Grinning, Buck would go home. And it would be comedy with Roy and with the rest of the people. And at the back end, I would do Roy's music. So that's the way I would, finish the style of this production.
So twice a year, the entire crew would gather in Nashville to record enough shows for the season, giving Clark a chance to tour and audiences the opportunity to see that behind those comedic chops was an extraordinary musician. Clark was at the height of his popularity, appearing on a variety of TV shows.
Well, I didn't know you were country, Donnie.
Are you kidding? Listen to this. When the deep purple falls over sleepy garden walls. Good, huh?
Well, it does bring tears to your eyes.
Mine too.
But it was as a guest star on The Odd Couple in 1971 that Clark's Pickin outshone his Grinnin. Letting America see the musical talent behind that smile. A talent that crossed cultures and transcended Cold War hostilities. You played in the Soviet Union truly at the height of the Cold War, when there were definite tensions between our two countries.
It seemed like the thing to do. Everybody was saying you can't do it, it's impossible, there's too many things in the way. But we had the Voice of America, they opened up the airwaves to them, which they had been blocked. And so they were talking about us coming, and made it really exciting. I couldn't wait to see us coming.
So what was it like to play to this crowd? How did they react?
Just like a rock and roll audience. Oh boy, they would get down and they would gyrate and do what they thought Elvis Presley did. And it was special.
A connection Clark makes with his audience and most everyone he meets.
Comedy will really soothe a lot of hard places in your life if you can laugh at it.
Will comedy improve a couple of missed notes here and there?
Oh yeah. Yeah, when you, somebody said, what do you do if you make a mistake? I said, I laugh. They said, you're always laughing. I said, I told you.
Now Clark has called Tulsa, Oklahoma home for going on 40 years. And while his touring schedule is a little bit lighter these days, you can still catch an occasional conversation with Roy Clark on stage. Now when we return, we meet the man behind the music.